Yeah, I know Silent Hill's a real place with I don't know. Silent. Just every. Right?
We don't have many graphic options here.
Right, Daddy?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's called. Whatever she said.
You're fired!
All right, guys. So today we're gonna go ahead and get started with
Never let me awake, and I don't know why. That's literally a smoke pipe.
Yeah, it literally is. Let's go in.
Who has a smoke pipe these days?
Back in the days, that's the way they.
You have a smoke pipe, Daddy.
Then I guess I must be young.
Are you young? You have a beard.
Oh, young people get beards too. You know, you call me old, we're gonna have a problem. Don't forget who your dad is.
I'm young, and you don't see me having.
Yeah, you got a little mustache going on.
Yeah, a mustache, not a beard that's overgrown.
All right. Hold on. What do we got here? Land development has been decided to be done in certain areas of the United States. They had found that there is one house in the area where land development takes place. They tried to contact the house to know whether it is abandoned or not. However, there was no reaction from the house at all. Therefore, one investigator was dispatched to the house. I guess that's me.
Yeah, that's you.
So you send one investigator. Of course you would. Why wouldn't you? It's a horror game.
And then you wouldn't send other. Oh, yep. There's nothing wrong with a pink forest.
You know,
dust.
Is something wrong with my game, or is this just the way the game is? Oh, I'm driving a nice car though. Look.
It's black.
I'm pimping. Look at my license plate. Never gonna catch me. I'm gonna say this looks like a Mercedes. Yeah,
Wow,
it's got like that Mercedes look to it.
You're rich now.
Yeah. Hey, I can jump in this game? Oh, I love games that let you jump.
Daddy, your car just upgraded.
I just got stuck.
No, in real life, this man has a Kia. His car just upgraded from a Kia to this.
Right. All right. Here we go. Yep, it looks like a Mercedes. It definitely does. Looks like it's fully loaded. But why is it so shaded like that? I have no idea. I hope this is the way the game was supposed to look. Where am I going? Oh my god, this game lets you explore wherever you want. I don't like that. That means I'm gonna get lost. Oh dear gosh.
There's no barrier.
Oh, wait, just found a barrier. I have to finish my task? Oh, there's another car, look. Okay, let me just follow the path.
Where's this other car at?
Well, I don't know. Looks like the Scooby-Doo animals. Just needs Scooby-Doo written on it.
Scooby.
Scooby-Doo.
And all you need
Where are
is.
you?
And all you need is Fred. Look, Dad, look at the car. All you need is Fred driving there, Velma sitting right there, and then.
Oh look, here we go. Now we can get
Shaggy and Scooby sitting in the back with that one girl in the middle. I forgot her name.
Daphne.
How come I always forget Daphne? I remember the rest.
Look at me. Oh, wow. This interior of this vehicle is definitely insane.
Oh no, I don't like that.
Little man is old. That's why you call him little man, right? Ooh, look at this truck. I guess you could say this truck speaks for the trees. Wow. Wow. Another one. We're using the same truck now. Okay, guys. What's in it? I'll take that. Of course I can't take it. What the hell happened in here?
Remember, Daddy, they said they got...
My mouse sensitivity is so high right now. Hold on.
Remember, Daddy, they said they got no calls from that place, so it was a big...
I'm gonna go like 1.6 because... it's too high. Oh, we could...
Dad, but remember, the only reason why you're out there is because they didn't get no calls from the place, so they sent a detective to see if the house was abandoned or not.
Okay. Alright, let's see. Yeah, sensitivity's a little better now. It was too high. Here we go, guys. We're about to go check out the house.
Don't do it, Daddy. Don't even open it.
I have to open the door. That's where the action is.
How much you want to bet the hallway looks like?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it probably does. Yeah, I'm going colorblind too. I'm pretty sure it's just the outside. Or I was hoping it would be. Or is this just the way the game looks?
I colorblind too.
Okay, no, like legit, the whole game looks like this. Why does it look like this?
Am I colorblind?
Oh my god, with the lights on. Oh my god, that gloom glare. Look at that. Oh dear jeez. It might just...
Am I colorblind?
Okay. Looks like we could zoom in.
Daddy, if you're colorblind, I probably got it from you. Is it me or just this whole game looks pink?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's kind of a...
Or is that the way the game
Door is
was?
locked. I don't know. Could be my GPU blowing up. My graphics card was overheating just a second ago.
Or Daddy, we could be
Locked.
Or Daddy,
Locked.
we could be colorblind.
Locked.
We didn't know it.
Could be. I like that we can jump though. Look. Oh, that's so great.
I need it. Why are you exploring an abandoned?
Oh, I legit need to know the password.
I try 11111. That always works.
It's just right. 1111111. I need to hit the...
Press 1 a bunch of times. And
Yep, denied.
111.
It is very hard on the eyes. I don't know why it's doing that. I'm wearing my gaming glasses, so I'm good. But you guys are probably getting tortured right now.
Well, good for you. You get gaming glass.
All right, so we just found a key. Not for that door. Ooh, I like this. Give me that bad boy right there. Yeah, I don't know about this game, guys, but you know what? We're gonna beat it. I'm just gonna play it and beat it. That's what we're gonna do here. Okay, so I found a key. It's gonna open up something. Seriously? Inventory. Where did my key go? You gotta be kidding me.
Oh, ow.
Right click to zoom.
I don't like that. Why is there a bunch of the graffiti on the wall?
187. Not creepy. Yeah, that did it. 187. Son of a... So what's the other one? 187. That's the only numbers I see though. Or is that 787? 78. No, wait. One of them has a line in it, one doesn't. So that's 187 because it has the underscore.
Wait, Dad, maybe that's for a different thing. Try the other room.
Right.
Because remember, the other room had graffiti on it too.
This one has no numbers.
Why is that? Yeah. Hey. Yeah, that just bumped up the graffitiness a lot. Look at that picture.
Yep. Oh. How do I can't do nothing with this?
Wait, Dad, there's another picture up there. Look. Look at the other picture.
Am I stuck in this game already? Okay, this game is really hurting my eyes. Like, look at this. Like, what the hell is that? Like, is it that necessary? I know it's bright outside, but jeez. Oh my god.
Why is that girl's face blocked?
I'm in the beginning of the game and I'm already stuck. Oh, I can go back outside. Tab to open up inventory. Use items by pressing... You can examine items by pressing Q, which I have been doing. But maybe I'm missing something. Take a look around here.
That is the password.
Alright. Maybe there was something in here, guys. I feel like we're missing a couple things here. No? Oh, I found this.
What'd you find?
Mr. Boogie. Me. Dorothy.
Mr. Boog.
Maybe he likes to boogie.
Wait, Daddy.
What?
Mr. Boogie the big guy?
Yeah. I think he's the guy chasing.
Wait, so it's only...
I don't know. Jay might have a good point. Let's check our settings. Oh, maybe it's Bloom. Let's try that real quick. Wow, these trees are really shaking it. Is this supposed to be happening here? Like, if I walked outside and saw the trees doing this, I might have to dance with the trees. Wow.
Be like...
It just feels like that's the way the game is, but why is it like that? Ambient occlusion? Let me turn it off.
Oh, God.
That did nothing.
Trying to...
Put that back on.
Ambient occlusion just makes it darker. Game is messing with my eyes.
See, I don't like that grain effect. I don't like that. I know it gives you like that scary feel, but I'd rather just see the original textures. Alright, something ain't right here, guys.
Hey, this game is hurting my eyes.
Okay, okay. Jiggy, 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 jiggy.
This game is hurting my eyes.
It's hurting my eyes too. Honestly, how do I grab a key and I don't have it anymore?
How do you say your eyes are hurting, but you have
Wait a minute,
glasses
I found
on?
something.
Dinosaur.
Wow. Wow.
A dinosaur. That's all you find. Okay, yeah, Daddy, look at that picture. Oh, why is there a turret?
Oh my god, the lights in this game are insane.
Daddy, look underneath the lamp. Can we take that, please? Look at that. Look, no, not underneath the lamp. Can we take that, please?
Oh no, yeah, I know. I would love to have that. That's just torture. So why'd the doors sealed back up if I took them down? It's like the game, it's like the doors reset it or something. All right, we're missing something here. It can't be this. It can't be this difficult.
Yeah, the game reset when you walked in.
But how come my keys are not going in my inventory? Yep, I think I'm about to rage quit. Blocked. We're gonna do 7, 8, 7, but pretty sure. Nope. 1, 8, 7.
Or did I try it backwards? 7, 8, 1.
Oh, you thought that was it, didn't you?
Yep.
Oh, lag spike.
Oh.
What the? Wow.
Oh. You want to say that? Waka 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 waka.
I don't get it.
This game is broken. Go on to different.
Wow.
This game is broken, bro.
Yeah.
Take down the board. See what's behind that door.
I can't.
What happened to our keys?
See, okay, let me try something here. Something ain't right. Something is not right.
If it doesn't work the third time, we gotta quit.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're gonna have to.
Hey, if we try it the third time it doesn't work, we're quitting, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let me go back inside. So so why is it every time I go in, the keys are there again? So why am I not really grabbing the key. I do apologize, guys. I wasn't expecting this to happen. Look, the key's here again. Maybe I need to examine it first.
Take. Now press E to take. It's a drawer key.
It won't let me use it.
No, Daddy, it's a drawer key.
Oh, yeah. I did say that, didn't it?
Or said drawer. Alright, Dad, we gotta quit.
What the? That box came out of nowhere.
Yeah, we gotta quit.
Well, it did say drawer key, so let's look for a drawer that needs a key, right?
How much you want to bet it's the one over there by the dinosaur? I mean, the one by the lady picture.
Probably.
Well, you didn't check the doors before. Oh,
Postcard 1122. We just
hold
found
on,
that.
Dad. Look at that postcard again. Wow, I'll be quick. What is that thing?
See you soon, my love. Yeah, you send me a postcard like that, I'll never respond ever again, and I'll leave out of country. Because what was it? 1122.
1 4.
Granted. And why is it always got to be the basements?
We're about to quit.
The
on
pink
this.
is just a game. I just checked the YouTube video and the game looks exactly like this. So why does it do it though?
If it didn't look.
It was only for up top. Look, the game looks normal now. And
it,
it sounds.
throw boxes. Why'd you just moonwalk out of here? Don't you dare. No, you're not allowed to. Oh.
No, I want to go back. I have no flashlight. And we go deeper and deeper. Who has a basement like this? And why do I feel like I'm losing frames? Is this game really like blowing up my GPU right now?
Who has a basement with lockers and all over the house?
It was locked.
How much you want to bet there's some behind those boxes? Now you better clear a way for you to run out.
Yeah, no, that is exactly what I'm gonna do. Because I know I'm gonna need.
Better clear.
Oh, it's a dead end anyway. Never mind. How's it actually gonna do this? And like, oh, and like get the monster like stuck in the boxes or something. Ooh. It did nothing. Some H2O. Can't go wrong with that.
Yes, you can. You don't know how long it's been there.
Maybe this was like the security office. I don't. Ooh. 101. Oh, now I got inventory.
No, dice, because you probably used it on the drawer.
Wow, that got real dark real fast. Oh
nope,
no,
Daddy.
no.
Nope. Turn around, close the door, and run away. Never come back.
But I need a flashlight.
I told you something's gonna look in the house like that.
Locked.
Daddy, you took my word. You're like, how much you wanna bet something in the house is gonna look like this? And I told you.
Yo, we got blood and organs all over the place. We'll do the bathroom first. What is this?
Oh.
Petrol oil?
Why does it say you?
What am I supposed to do with that? Petrol oil can be combined with oil lamps to increase light. Oh God, that means we're not gonna have infinite light, so we better be prepared for that. Just carry the candle with you. This kind of gives me like that.
Daddy, why does this look like an insane asylum with all those cages and all these organs on?
There's something right there on the ground. I see. I don't know if that's a person or if that's a
guard.
It was a guard. This was a weird house. Locked. Locked.
All locked.
Locked. Locked.
No
Yeah, you can see the red.
And how much you want to bet he's gonna chase you once you?
Nah, I don't think he will, but I bet you that one room that's open, probably where that creature is.
Ah.
Maybe I came at a bad. Look at their heads. Yep, came at the wrong time. You guys have a good day. Yep. Nope, they are, their heads is twerking it. This game is really dark.
What is that? Nothing.
I don't know, but you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna full screen
Wait,
this.
Daddy, room 101. Wait, do you think the room 101 is upstairs?
Hmm?
You think the room 101's upstairs?
Oh, I think we've already opened it. I had to make a GIF real quick. Yeah. Oh gosh. Whoa, what the?
Daddy, the monster's rising!
Don't you dare.
The guards are getting up!
Got all screwed up just now.
Yeah, because all you want to do is make a stupid gift and go like some drug. Play a slow motion.
You don't like it?
Daddy,
Oh.
look. I have every type of element. Look. All 9 of the elements. Not all 9 crap math.
Give me a second, guys. Hold on. Let me see how this actually looked up. All right, let's see what this ritual is all about. You hear weird music.
We came at a wrong long time, Daddy, so we just back out. These all the patrons? What are they bowing down to? Just a bunch of organs, Daddy, look. Look at it, Daddy. Just a bunch of organs, look. Oh my god, how tall is that? Look, it's just a bunch of organs.
They won't let me jump on top of them.
Daddy, just a bunch of organs, though. Why are they bowing down to that?
There's a panel there.
Look, Daddy, look at that. Why are they bowing down to that? Bunch of... Why are their hands all bloody?
These look like they're patients, so maybe this is like a mental asylum, and I love how there's 2 candles on this one door. There's that creepy family picture. I bet one of you guys are responsible for all this, aren't you? I can't see nothing.
Hey, how much you want to bet it's Mr. Boogie?
Did I just cut the power off? Oh, they're gonna hate me out there. Oh, they're gonna be mad. They were in the middle of worshipping. What the?
Bunch of organs, right, Daddy?
Ooh. You have taken the oil lantern? They gave me a bunch of these.
Use one. Use one.
Doesn't let me combine. Oh, I'm not going in there yet. Hold on.
Dad, go outside, see what happened. Use. There's already oil in it, look.
I gotta keep an eye on that oil then. It lights up pretty good. Oh yeah, they were mad.
Yep, Dad, go. Time to go to that vent. Yep. How do you get him?
Okay, well. I just heard something in that vent.
That's probably you. That was you jumping then.
I need something. I can't grab the chairs?
Dad, what just happened to all the patients?
I have no idea.
You have no
Well,
idea.
how do I know?
You have no idea, and then you're gonna regret it later.
Okay, oh, now it shows me the fuel. It goes pretty quick.
Ah, they're gone.
They're gonna be mad. What the? I just saw out of the map for a second.
Dad, look behind you.
Nope.
Imagine something chases people. Yeah. That's when we just pause the game. I pause the game.
Something.
It's the guard. He ran.
He's like, don't go this way. Some body physics though.
But Dad, look up. See where he came from. Wait, Daddy. Is that a vent from upstairs from one of the sane people? A bunch of dead guards with bites out of their arms.
There's a bunch of guards. Like, so what happened here? Somebody was mad.
That's a bunch. Hey, go. Nope, go the other way. Wait, Daddy.
Maybe they like to play Plants vs. Zombies and go brains.
Hey, Daddy. Oh, I like Plants vs. Zombies. But Daddy, I know what's going on here. One of the same patients got really mad. They probably taken up into the guards. You know that monster we saw? Yep, that's
what the fudge are you, dude? That's it. Okay, wow.
That's stupid.
That starting point, though, you gotta be kidding me.
Just one hit and you're dead?
Wow, I gotta do all that.
Daddy, that's stupid. One hit and we're dead?
Oh, I forgot to save the game.
Hey, that's stupid. One hit and we're dead.
Yeah, honestly, that was pretty
He
nice.
literally just went like this. And the game was like one of those wannabe other games, and it just says retry. Or we're dead.
Yay.
So what is that? Right?
We're gonna try this again. Locked. Are you serious?
Keys are over there by the desk, remember? At the drawer. Dad, I know what's going on. You know that monster we saw just now?
Yeah.
I think he killed all the guards and took out the brain.
Yeah, I think so too. So that monster was in charge of everything.
But that's so stupid. He killed us one hit.
Alright, there is a save function. I need to save it more often. That's what I need to do
So
here.
let's just save it in the vent then?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be helpful, handy dandy.
I do miss these guys though.
How much you want to bet when you got those guys angry, they formed into that big monster? How much you want to bet?
Let's try it again. All right, let's see here, guys. All right, so we got a couple more things here. I don't think we can go through this door because I don't know. Oh, now we get a better idea what that is. Just body parts on a bone. All right, so here we go. We're gonna save it right here just to be safe. Yeah, we're playing Never Let Me Wake right now, guys. That's what we're playing. Okay, there was the dead body. Thank you, Constance. How you been? Okay, so now we're pretty much back where we left off. Save the game. I'm glad we could save it wherever we want, but this thing, how am I supposed to run past it? Alright, so the creature's not in this room. He spawned differently this time.
That was some shenanigans. One hit, you're dead.
Yeah, that was some shenanigans.
You need to fix that. Right?
Yeah. I don't know where he is. There's not really good hiding places around here. I need 3 valves. So where's that creature now? How come now the creature don't want to be here? I just saved it again just to be safe, guys. Wow, the door only opens in one direction. Maybe the game was glitched.
Oh, what is...
Oh my god, of course this is the morgue. It's where they put all the dead bodies. Or not a morgue, but this is the like a patient room probably where they, or this might have been the nursing room.
Yeah, whatever happened in that bed, I don't want to know.
856. 856. 856. Nope. I can't see in this game, like it's so dark. Look, he's just chilling right there. Look at him. Huh. So there's no actual like narrating to this game. It's just kind of like you go in, you do your objectives.
Eddie, I know why the family left now.
Yeah, I don't blame them. That might be the dad. Maybe he's still upset about something. And of course the door is locked. I need to go where he is. Why wouldn't I? Well, since he's stuck and all.
Stuck.
856 was the combination, right? So I think there was a panel around here somewhere. Oh. Just like barely. I found a drawer key. Okay. Oh, that took me back here. Oh, maybe I don't have to worry about him. Hold on, let me save it. I gotta do 856. Are you serious right now? You can't be serious. Oh my god, what was the combination? This light doesn't do anything. Oh, because it's running out. Yeah, that makes sense. There we go. Now it lights up. 856. Yeah, 856. You're telling me that's not the combination here? Okay. Not even for that one. Of course it's locked. Okay, so 856 is not working for neither one of these two panels. Right. Oh my god, Clash Royale. Don't remind me, guys. The rage quitters are definitely real on that game. Most definitely. This game is weird.
Like, did my dad make some people rage Clash Royale? We just spam our gun.
Yeah, look at this guy. I'm gonna make him mad. Dang, I like that he's stuck though. Like, I don't want to trigger him. I'm about to tick him off. What the heck is that thing? You see his brain. How am I supposed to get past him? Oh, hold on a second. I can't grab anything. I have no items to use. Oh, this is baloney. Like, he's probably glitched. He's gonna kill me because I can't get his attention. Oh, I got a closer view on him. This game is broken. Oh! Hey, buddy. Oh. Yo, we were just chatting, bro. I was trying to say what's up. What's the matter with you? Unbelievable. Oh, give me a checkpoint.
Where? Area?
Well, I get to go to the room he was just blocking.
No, he's right behind you. See him?
Yeah, this game's officially broken. Oh well, that's fine with me. Bunch of rooms we can check out here. We might be able to beat this game in no time. Man, there's like blood and everything everywhere. There's nothing in these rooms though. Nope. Not gonna ask. We'll take that. I'll take that. What the hell was that? Something just yelled at me. Something just screamed at me in this game. Why do we have an evil teddy bear here? What? I have no idea. It was in that room. I heard him. I think I just found out. There's something wrong with this guy. This place has lost it. They don't hurt me though, at least. That's good.
That's for you.
I don't know what this person just did to themselves. I don't know, man. This one might attack me. Let me save it. We're gonna play it safe, guys. Shh. All right, here we go. I'm gonna talk to this person. Something wrong with these people. But those patients don't hurt me though. So what am I supposed to do here? Of course this door is locked. Wait a minute. Each of these rooms have a light. Three. I don't know. Some of these rooms are lighting up and some are not. Get what's going on here, guys. But we're gonna have to go against this thing again. 856. Oh, I see it patrolling now. It moves very slow. Game is really dark though. So there's not. Ooh, what's this? I got a door key and a draw key. Another draw key. Man, I got a bunch of these right now, guys. So maybe I think we just found something. 412 856 412. 856 4. Gosh. 412 8562. Oh, let me try this one. 856412. About 412 856. Interesting. Oh. Well, that worked. Inventory's full. Okay, so we got a body here, guys. I know, right, Jim? Yeah, it's... Hey, why that body just disappeared? Because I'm full on inventory. What the heck, man? Oh well. Four, 1, 2, 8, 5, 6. So we ain't gotta worry about that combination no more. Go into the other room. Come on. Oh, it's coming by me. Nah, that monster.
I do.
How far does he come into these rooms? Hide behind the toilet, I guess. Oh boy. Okay, he's on to me. Did I lose health? I think I did. My items got glitched because I didn't grab them. So I need one more valve to press. How did the body bag get in here? Yeah, so this just happened. I think my game glitched. Yep. So what happened to the key that was here? Like it went out of the map, it kept flying upward. Wow. Got a key for a door. None of these were locked. Okay, well. That's it. Game's broken. Game is definitely broken. Well, there's supposed to be like there was supposed to be a key like right around here. Problem is, oh, it's right there. It's on the ceiling. Yeah.
Above the ceiling.
I can't get it. It keeps flying up. Wow. I'm done. And because I saved it here, let me see. Let me go to main menu. Game. Load game. What the? Level 4. All right, let me load this one, see what happened. Yeah, the key went up into the air. You're out of your mind. That was the most recent. These are all level 1. This one says level 4, but wow. Oh my gosh! You know what? I'm done. Yeah, we're done. I think we're gonna conclude that one.
My dad just.
Yeah, we're gonna rage quit on that one.
You're fired!
This game, I don't know. See why it was cheap. All right.